Steve, your book is about the heavyweight title fights of the 1980s.
Yep.
You're clearly a fan of that particular boxing division.
Yeah.
What more can you tell us?
Okay. Well, I'm not just a fan of the 80s heavyweights. I am a fan of the entire history of the heavyweight division. So what I'll do then is I will run through very quickly history of that division from its origins through to the end of the 20th century. So not eight. The first world heavyweight champion was a guy by the name of John L. Sullivan. In 1892, he lost that title to James Corbett. James Corbett then lost it to Bob Fitzsimmons, who was born in Cornwall, so the first guy born on these shores to be heavyweight champion of the world. Even though he never fought here, we still claim him. He lost his title to Jim Jeffries. Jim Jeffries then retired and gave up the title, so Marvin Hart beat a guy called Jack Root to claim the vacant title. Tommy Burns then beat Marvin Hart. Tommy Burns went all the way around the world trying to avoid Jack Johnson. So Jack Johnson finally caught up with him in Australia and gave him a beating and took the title. Jack Johnson was then the first black heavyweight champion of the world, which was hugely controversial at the time and made him very unpopular. He held the title until he was beaten by Jess Willard in a controversial fight. Jack Johnson claimed he threw the fight. He was photographed lying on his back with his eyes shielded from the sun, claiming that was his evidence that he quit. But if I was going to quit, I wouldn't leave it till the 26th round to quit, as he did. Jess Willard then was beaten by Jack Dempsey, another legendary heavyweight champion. Dempsey absolutely brutalised Jess Willard in an iconic performance. Dempsey was immensely popular and broke all kinds of records for earning money and attendances through the Roaring Twenties. He was finally defeated by Gene Tunney. Gene Tunney then retired, again leaving the title vacant, and the title was won by Max Schmeling. Max Schmeling was the first, he was German, he was the first man to win the title on a disqualification. He was rolling around on the floor after being punched low by Jack Sharkey. The two of them had a rematch later and Jack Sharkey beat him to take the title back to America. Jack Sharkey then lost the title controversially to Primo Carnera. Carnera was considered to be a mob-controlled fighter and many fights were fixed. Carnera then lost the title to Max Baer. Max Baer, the Livermore Larriper. Max Baer then lost the title to Jim Braddock in what at that time was a huge upset. Jim Braddock then bided his time looking for the best deal and lost his title a couple of years later to another legend, Joe Louis. Louis held the title for an enormous amount of time and set a record for a number of defences, even though some of those defences were made against people that were branded as a bum of the month club. Joe Louis then lost his title. He retired, but then came back very quickly and passed the title to Ezra Childs. Ezra Childs then lost the title to Jersey Joe Walcott. Jersey Joe Walcott then lost the title to another legend, Rocky Marciano. Marciano taking the title from Walcott was an incredible fight, possibly the greatest heavyweight title fight of all time. Again, an iconic finish by an iconic fighter. Rocky then created his own record by retiring undefeated, 49-0, never beaten. So he left the title vacant. That title was then contested by Archie Moore and Floyd Patterson. Patterson won in 5 rounds. Patterson then lost in time to Ingemar Johansson and then beat Johansson in a rematch. So Patterson became the first world heavyweight title holder to win the title twice. Patterson then, he couldn't avoid Sonny Liston for much longer, so he finally faced Liston and got destroyed in 1 round, and the same thing happened in a rematch. Liston then lost to a young man by the name of Cassius Clay. Another huge upset. Cassius Clay changed his name to Muhammad Ali, of course. Ali was then stripped of the title because of his refusal to be inducted into the Armed Forces of America. And then in his absence, Joe Frazier became the recognised world champion, although some people still felt that Ali was a champion and he would be until he was defeated. But we're going to go down the path of Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier was then defeated by George Foreman in another iconic performance. Foreman bounced Frazier off the canvas. I think it was about 6 times in 2 rounds to become champion. George Foreman was considered to be unbeatable and this ferocious fighter, and there along came Muhammad Ali again, and the two met in an incredible fight in Africa, and Ali reclaimed the title, and everyone was shocked, and Ali became a legend. Ali then retained the title through the remainder of most of the 70s before losing in a huge upset to Leon Spinks. An immediate rematch happened, and Ali claimed the title for a record 3rd time, and then Ali retired. That's when the title picture got a bit confusing. I'm going to ignore the sanctioning body titles, and we're going to pick up with Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes was considered the champion by the WBC, but the Ring magazine considered him the overall champion when Mike Weaver held the WBA belt, and Holmes had already beaten Weaver. So Holmes was the heavyweight champion through the first half of the 1980s. He lost to Michael Spinks when he was getting very close to beating Rocky Marciano's record. Spinks was then champion, beat Holmes in a rematch. Spinks went on to face Tyson. Tyson had all the sanctioning body belts, but Michael Spinks was the man who beat the man. Tyson destroyed Michael Spinks. Tyson was considered himself unbeatable until in the first heavyweight title fight of the 1990s, he lost to Buster Douglas in a huge upset, the biggest upset in heavyweight history. Buster Douglas then lost in his first defence to Evander Holyfield. Holyfield lost to Riddick Bowe. Riddick Bowe lost a rematch to Holyfield. Holyfield then lost to Michael Moorer. Michael Moorer then lost, unbelievably, to a comebacking George Foreman who hadn't been champion for about 20 years. George Foreman then didn't really want to face anyone too hard and lost the title ultimately to Shannon Briggs. Shannon Briggs then got defeated by Lennox Lewis, and at the turn of the 20th into the 21st century, Lennox Lewis was still champion, and after that I stopped kind of following it a bit.
Wow.
There you go. I hope that was correct.
Well, if anybody wants to go and check whether it's correct, they can do.
There may
can't
be
they?
the odd mistake in there, but I don't think I did too bad. Thank
No.
you.